On July 12th of 2025, Major Chad Dickerson was arrested for vehicular assault. And at that time, I came out and gave a press conference and talked about the case of what I knew about it. And I told you that I would be transparent and up to date and tell you things that happened with it as I found out. Yesterday afternoon at about 3:14 p.m., I received a phone call from the prosecutor, Mary Robnett. She said to me, "I just want to let you know that we will be charging Major Dickerson with 2 counts of vehicular assault." I said, "Thank you," and I hung up the phone with her. I finished my brief meeting, and then I called Carly Capetto, my PIO, and I told her what had happened, and I said, let's start crafting a press release so that we can put it out. I had no idea what had been written in any of the charging documents because I had never seen it. I hadn't been involved in this investigation at all. I stayed away from it completely so that no one would say that I tried to influence the investigation in any way. Shortly after I spoke with Carly, she sent me an email and said, "Sheriff, King 5 wants to interview you, and here's a copy of the documents that were filed against Major Dickerson." And they already had a copy of it and had questions, rightfully so, to ask Carly about it. I didn't have any answers at the time because I had not reviewed anything at the time. And so then I reviewed the case. What I saw, not the case, but the charging documents. One's called the information, the other's called charging documents. So I reviewed that. And then I'm here today to answer any questions that you might have. But I want to say that I didn't know anything about it at all. After Mary Robnett called me, I found out that the reports had already been uploaded in Lynx. Lynx is a program that they use to put court cases in. I don't even know how to log into it. Don't know anything about it myself because I'm the sheriff. That's not in my wheelhouse. Typically, executives of an organization have people who will give that to them, and they would have given it to me had anybody given it to me in advance before it was given to the media, but it wasn't. I received it after the media received it, which I believe is disrespectful. I believe that the prosecutor should have given it to me in advance. I believe before 3:14 p.m. when she called me, she knew that she would be filing charges. Maybe it was earlier that morning, maybe it was the day before. I don't know when it was, but I know it wasn't at 3:14 they decided to file the charges because at that time, according to Lynx and what I've been told, it was already updated in Lynx. Shortly thereafter, an email went out, I believe, from her PIO to all the news media with a copy of the reports, but they didn't even have the courtesy to CC me on it or Carly, my PIO. So when I received that, everybody here probably already had it and had got an opportunity to review it before I did. And since I'm being open and transparent with you, I'm telling you the way things worked and the way they are. And with that, I'll open up for questions.
Sheriff, can you just talk about what are the policies regarding body camera usage, collision scenes, and were they followed in this case?
First off, I want to let everybody know that the policies and procedures that I'm working with as the Pierce County Sheriff were here before I became the sheriff. I became the sheriff January 1st, 2025. Had I been involved in these policies and decision makings, the policy wouldn't read as it does right now, but it does read this way. The vehicle or body-worn camera should be activated in any of the following situations. The key word there is the word should. Had I been the sheriff when this was written, the key word would be shall. We shall turn on the cameras, and so it says should. With that being said, it's really hard to say somebody violated a policy whenever you have the opportunity to turn on your camera or not. I believe everybody that arrived at that scene that day should have had their camera on, and I don't know if there's anything I can do about it, but if there is, I will. For sure, I've been working with the union on this policy since the beginning, well, since March. You all don't know that, but that's a behind the scenes thing because I already knew it said should instead of shall, and I want it to say shall. But we have to negotiate these things. You have to go through a legal process in order to change the policy. I can't just go in and change the policy. So we're working on that. The deputies and the leadership here understand that we want to be open and transparent, and they understand that we should always have our cameras on when we're interacting with the public. And in my case, I believe that we shall always do that, and that's what I'm going to strive for.
I don't think that, judging by my reading of the documents, it's not about them not having their camera on or forgetting to turn it on. It is about having it on and then turning it off before they talk to Dickerson. So is that something that you would rather not see happen?
Absolutely, I'd rather not see that happen, but it doesn't have a caveat in here and says that once it's on, then you shall not turn it off. It still falls under the policy of should, and we need that word changed to shall, so that every deputy shall have their camera on when they are responding to a call or interacting with the community.
Court documents indicate that Dickerson and his family members were allowed to remove items from the vehicle and clean up some of the crash debris. Your reaction to that, should that have happened?
That should not have happened.
And just how, I mean, with the deputies who were there and are named in this, is there an investigation right now from your office into those actions?
As soon as I received this document and reviewed it, and the undersheriff reviewed it, we opened an investigation into all the conduct of the deputies involved at the scene that day.
Is that an internal investigation or will an outside agency?
No, it's an internal investigation, as are all investigations of policies, violations. If it was a criminal violation, or if it turns out to be one, then we will farm it out to another agency to review it.
With the gray area and the body camera policy, do you expect any action to be taken involving the responding deputies who were reportedly turning cameras on and off?
That's a legal question. I'll have to speak with legal advisors about that, because it doesn't matter what Sheriff Swank believes or wants to do. I have to follow the law and policy and procedure myself, or I'd be violating the same thing that I'm trying to hold people accountable to. In a perfect world, they would have had their cameras on. We're going to put out information to everybody on the Pierce County Sheriff's Office that says if you are interacting with anything like this, it doesn't matter if it's the sheriff or the undersheriff or the mayor or the executive or the governor or the president, you'll have your body-worn camera on. And you won't do it just because you, for whatever reason, maybe they didn't want to embarrass them. I don't know what the case may be, but it should be on. And if it ends up as me, it should be on then also.
Do you feel that Dickerson in this case has gotten any sort of preferential treatment that the average person would not have gotten?
Well, he got actually the opposite of that. An average person would still be waiting for their BAC report to come back up to a year and a half. The only thing I did during this was I just reached out to our people who said that they could contact possibly the investigating unit, the WSP, and say, could you please expedite this, because I wanted to resolve it as soon as possible for the community's sake and for the victims of this incident's sake. So yes, his treatment was different than regular people. It was that he was held more accountable than other people would be.
Being able to leave the crash scene, would that happen with a other civilian?
Well, it probably would have happened immediately when they showed up there at a high impact like that. They would have gone in a medic van and left. Typically, we would have said to the victim there, a civilian, get in the car and the medic can go. We'd have a deputy follow them. But they might have deferred to Major Dickerson because he was a commander and he said, I don't feel like I need to go right now. Had it been a civilian, we would have said, please get in the vehicle. We couldn't make them, but we would suggest them because of an impact like that you should get checked out.
Do you have any update on the victims that were hurt in this incident? Do you know if they've recovered well?
I do not have any update. I haven't contacted anybody or anything about this case, as I said earlier, until yesterday. I don't think it will be proper for me to contact them to ask them how things are going, because then somebody might misconstrue that and think I'm trying to interfere with the investigation. I hope they're doing well. I'm sorry about what happened to them. I know there were significant injuries, and I hope that they are recovering well and can get back to normal life.
What's the major status now and going forward?
At this very moment in time, he's on administrative paid leave.
Going forward?
I'll let you know about that.
Well, what would what would constitute him being released from the office?
By Monday of next week, I'll let you know what I plan to do in the case of Major Dickerson.
By Monday, you're saying they're planning to have an update then?
Yes.
The reports from the responding deputies and then the state patrol trooper who eventually came into responding to the scene, they vary in how they found Dickerson, if he smelt anything, if he was showing any signs of being under the influence. Do you have any reaction to the contrast between the two?
Yeah, I have real world reaction. When you're outside like this, it's hard to smell alcohol in someone's breath. When you're in a confined space, it's easier to smell it. Also, if you ingest alcohol right now, you won't be drunk, but down the road you'll be drunk. Alcohol burns off, I think, at a rate of 0.015 BAC per hour. It also increases at a certain rate. Also, it's all mathematical. Anybody that's a DUI expert will be able to tell you what the BAC was at the time of the collision. So I don't know if his BAC was going up or going down at that time. But I can tell you this, that it would be different. 3 hours makes a difference. Confinement, close quarters makes a difference too than outside here.
Are you in contact with Dickerson? Has he shared any feelings with?
I am not in contact with him because I wouldn't want anybody to think I was interfering with the investigation. I didn't even call him up to tell him that I hope he's okay from his injuries.
Is there anything outside of the kind of strictures of the policies for your personnel that you can do to address the behavior that was there at the scene of the accident, including how much deference to give a commanding officer? What are the best practices, or are you fully limited to those requirements that are in policy?
I think I tried to answer that a little bit before the previous question that I answered, but I am limited by policy. But I am saying this so that everybody's clear. I want everybody, when they come into contact with the Pierce County Sheriff's Office deputies, no matter who they are, where they are, what status they are in life, that they will all be treated and handled the same way. And if there was something that was done wrong or deference, as you said, to Major Dickerson, the people who did that will be held accountable.
And another policy question. There was, it looked like an issue early on of, do we continue to investigate this ourselves, or do we call in WSP? Is there a rule if one of your deputies is ever involved in an accident like this, would you always call another agency, or is it up to the commander?
Well, it's up to the commander, but also it's a wise policy to have another agency to investigate it so that you can say that it was done by somebody who's unbiased, right? If we investigate our own for a possible criminal activity, people might say, oh yeah, you did it yourself because you want to cover it up or something like that. So I spoke with the command duty officer that day. He called me up, said that WSP was going to be investigating it, and I said, that's a great choice. They're experts in that, and it will be fair and impartial.
Sharon, you said it was disrespectful that RobNet didn't share those documents with you initially. How did you get a hold of the charging documents? Did you ask the prosecutor's office for them?
No, Carly emailed them to me after somebody from King 5 emailed them to her.
You may have talked about this a little bit before, but with the policy wanting to change the wording from should to shall, is that something that is in your ability right now? Are you able to make a change like that to policy, or what does that process look like?
It's a negotiation process with the union. It's a change of work conditions, so I have to negotiate that. We have to sit down with attorneys on their side and our side and work through it all and hash it out. And it's not something that just happens overnight. I've been working on it since March, but they're without a contract right now, and so their biggest concern is to make sure that they get their well-deserved pay raises. So this is taking a back burner for them possibly. It's a front burner for me though.
Do you think it'll be included when you finally reach a contract?
This will not be included in that because I don't think it's part of the arbitration. that I know of, but I'm not involved in that part of it right now. But I think this is something we'll negotiate on the outside of it if we can. And I might be speaking out of line, and the prosecutor's office might say I'm saying something I shouldn't be able to say. But that's the problem that happens because I'm not allowed to have my own personal legal advisor. So I'm out here winging this on my own. Anything else? Well, thank you all very much for your time. I appreciate you being here. I will give you an update, or Carly, or however, we'll make sure we update you with whatever decisions are moving forward. I just want to end with this. I believe in due process for everybody, including people who work for the Pierce County Sheriff's Office. So we have a process we have to follow here. I'm going to follow it. It doesn't matter what my opinion is about things, it matters what the process is, and that I do things the right way every time. I'm going to do everything here the right way to the best of my ability, and we are going to evaluate things and hold ourselves accountable like we always will. Thank you very much.
All right, so that is Sheriff Swank reacting in real time to Major Dickerson and the new charges that we now know have been linked to him. That is 2 counts of vehicular assault DUI. This is in connection to a July 12th crash in Graham that injured multiple members of a family, according to court records that we previously obtained. Charges were filed just 1 day ago. Now, you heard some back and forth there. It got a little awkward when you heard the Pierce County Attorney's name brought up in the conversation around some folks getting those files before he did. He said that he felt disrespected. Important to note, maybe the reason behind that, there has been a long-standing feud between the Pierce County Prosecutor Mary Robinette, or at least it would seem that way. There's been court filings and there's been back and forth. Sheriff Keith Swank has made it clear he wants a private lawyer to be able to advise him, and this has popped up in news stories over the past several months, and it's something that he was asked about during Fox 13's one-on-one sit-down, where Alejandro Guzman talked to Sheriff Swank about a number of things ranging from immigration to this particular case. But as for the matter at hand, Dickerson now facing multiple charges, 2 counts of vehicular assault DUI following that crash back on July 12th in Graham. We did not get an update, as you heard, about the family and how they're doing right now. But according to court documents, Dickerson is accused of drinking while golfing before failing to yield at an uncontrolled intersection and hitting a family's SUV, injuring a pregnant woman, 3 children, and their grandmother. The filings also detailed something that you may have caught some questions about there, where there was a delayed response and body camera deactivations by deputies at the scene before the Washington State Patrol took over the investigation, which has led to some concerns for investigators. So Sheriff Swank speaking with the media, we were able to get that out to you live. We do appreciate you guys sticking with us as we kind of worked through that and we were hearing some of those questions. I know sometimes they seem like they're coming out of left field. Hopefully that clears things up as to the feud that he has going on with the county attorney and those questions about body cameras as well.